just remember something.
Yep,
So,
it's streaming live on Facebook. Woohoo!
yes,
Bon camino.
buen camino. Just let me put you together here. Welcome,
All right, bon
Natasha.
camino.
So, welcome to ATMA con Beatriz. ATMA means Aprendiendo a Transformar Nuestro Mundo en Alternativas in Spanish, and in English, that is Learning to Transform Our World in Alternatives. So here we are with this initiative, and actually today is a very, very special day for me. I mean, for everyone, because it's 11/11, November 11th,
Yes.
and it's the day that I'm launching my space as a learning community for many of the things that I'm doing: primal dance, essential oils, conversations, coaching, traveling, everything.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But
It's
it's
like you're
not a
tapping in all the angels.
yeah, thank you. But it's not a homepage. It's a space that I'm creating for my team. That I have the team in 14 countries now. So we want to be together like in our house. But that house is going to have a space in English. So once I have the English side, I will invite you to come, because right now it's just the creation and the infrastructure. So the thing is that right now here is Natasha Dalmia with me. And the first question, sweetie heart, who is Natasha? So you tell me.
With you, Beatriz, especially with you and Mark, I am actually a pilgrim. So, why and what or who a pilgrim? Really, a pilgrim in this journey of life, enjoying the juice of life, really through making choices that matters to me, and having a team, my family, my friends, strangers who become friends like you, and a whole community supporting me in my dreams and me supporting them in their dreams.
So beautiful. So a pilgrim supporting dreams worldwide, right?
Yeah.
International dreamer, international, global, global dreamer and pilgrim. I met Natasha. For the people that don't know our relationship, we met back in 2000, maybe 2014,
2013.
13. Really?
Yes.
Wow. You were graduating from your coaching journey, right? I
Yeah.
came once. I came at the end of the conference. I mean, the last conference I was participating in the somatic space, and I was studying my primal dance, my
Yes.
certification. Yeah, so I have to practice. And I said, "Hello, can I practice with the students?" I have to do a practice. So it was amazing, and it was very beautiful. The other day, I was talking with Jennifer Lim, and we were just remembering that how at the end of the practice she said, "I will never do this again," and she has been practicing primal dance almost every time that I'm going to Singapore. So we met there, and I do remember we connect also because you are Indian. You're
Of
from
course.
India.
Namaste.
Namaste. आपके से है?
मैं अच्छी हूँ. आपका दिन कैसा गया?
I know my Hindi is not that. It's one of the things that I really would love to do one day in my life, to learn Hindi. It's a language. Hindi and Catalan are two languages that I would love to learn. Of course, more people speak Hindi than Catalan, but it's both languages that it really caught my attention. The thing is that when we met, I remember we had a lot of conversations about Darjeeling and the places. I mean, you were born in Darjeeling and all the places that I went into
Yeah.
back in 2001 and 2002 when I live in India.
More than me within India.
I know, I know, I know many. I know that yes, I have been in maybe many more places that Indians are, because I just was traveling for a couple of years from the north to the south, east to the west, and doing so many things. But that is another conversation. Today is about you. But I remember also that we were talking about all your dreams and we share a little bit of the Camino that I did my Camino in 2004. And Mark did the Camino Mark did this Camino, I don't know, 2010, 11, 12, 13, I don't remember when Mark.
Definitely before 2013. because he
Definitely, yes, of
inspired me
course.
as well.
Exactly. I know that it was part of the traveling and everything. The thing is that Natasha and I, we have shared so many scenarios. We have been together in Vipassana Meditation Center. We have
Yes,
been traveling in Cambodia, meditating with in the different
yes,
temples with Claudia Varela also. We have
yes,
been in Singapore and walking in the street, having
yes,
dinner,
yes,
sitting on a
yes,
bench when you were single, then when you were going to get married, then when you got married, now with a baby. So we
yes.
have many, many moments, and I do really appreciate our friendship. And it's something very that I have very close and dear in my heart. So because our relationship started like I was facilitating a process like a teacher student, and everything was evolving in our conversations. And nowadays
Mm,
is you are one of the persons that I met every time that I go to Singapore, at least for coffee, and it's like how to touch base. And now to have this space and talk about your journey and the practice of satsang and everything that you are doing, and all the evolution, also the development that you have had in your professional journey, the things that you are doing, the certifications that you are getting, and how you serve all the people that is around you with getting more knowledge, and now also serving your family, your baby, your husband. So you haven't told this. So saying this, sweetie, what you would like to share with us today?
so I love, love, love that you chose the name Atma, which you know in Sanskrit means soul.
Yes.
And I don't know Sanskrit so much, but I know some words, and they hold a very special attraction and a resonance for me at a spiritual level. It's not just logical. So, what is satsang? Maybe I'll start with that. And why practice of satsang? So, when I went for my learning community, it's called Art of Hosting in Budapest. And over there, as I sat with this group of learners, and the teacher over there, whom I teasingly called him my grandfather, again, not an Indian, but truly with that expansive soul, Toka, I got out of that learning community feeling satsang is truly when we respect each other and we learn from each other. And it doesn't matter, like you said, you and I were in a teacher student relationship. But if we just see the two of us as a soul to another soul, I want to know about your life and you want to know about my life. And there's so much we can learn. So there is no teacher student relationship, but there is a soul relationship. And I
Mm.
felt the same way with a lot of other fellow teachers, trainers, coaches. And then I dared to even look at my family members like that, like the elders as children and as the children as elders. And that's when I published the book back in 2014 with stories of real people who are the real superheroes in life, saying it's a practice of really seeing the truth and the beauty of life in another human being. And
Mm.
that's what I have been doing in my work, in my life. And yeah, hence a pilgrim.
Yeah, that's super beautiful. And all those stories, how many stories and where are the people from? The stories that you wrote about.
So I have lived in Singapore for about, I think, about 14 years now.
Oh my God,
Wow, I
it's a
haven't
lot.
paused to count.
How come you don't miss India?
I miss and I go home, and I'm also at home over here. I'm at home
Yes,
in my body wherever I am. So
I'm the same. I agree.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And um, so the people, when I first came to Singapore, I had a really good opportunity to stay with different people. Like I think I stayed with people from 20 different nationalities over the years.
Mhm.
And I must have met a lot more in the circles that I was moving around in. It was the coaching circle, the ISEC circle, the different learning circles.
Mm.
So in that, I developed some really good friendships. And what are those good friendships when they are based on these three pillars? The first pillar of truth, like we don't have to be nice to each other, or we don't have to look very nice when we meet, but just being really truthful and vulnerable and real. And the second one is, I guess, people of similar wavelength, so similar consciousness. And third pillar is really a lot of joy, like meeting them would bring a lot of joy.
Mm,
And we would take our time for each other. So, with these three pillars, as I began to listen to the stories, I realized it's so interesting the different perspectives I learned from them and they learned from me,
mm,
right from managing time. So I have a friend for whom, coming from India, time was flexible. And for her, time was 9 a.m. means 9 a.m. So simple
mm,
things like that, from food, cuisine, taste, thinking, a lot of those things. And that's why I picked those stories from the real people who went through life's challenges. And the intention is, how did they face it with truth, consciousness, and joy?
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. This was in
14.
2015, 14, 14. It was immediately after your coaching journey
Yes,
when you graduate. I do remember that you
yes.
published, and I have a copy of your book. Um, and how you choose those people? I mean, it's like a, yeah, you were inspired with those people, that 20 people, but how did you choose? How did you know with whom you wanted to have this conversation? And how do you know that this was the right people to talk about this, and it was going to serve your idea and intention to serve others through those stories?
So it didn't happen that way. I
Okay.
didn't have the conversations with them after I thought of the book. Rather, I had the conversations. So from 2007 to 2014, I had already lived my life in Singapore, grown tremendously as a person, and had lived through those moments. And then you're right, after New Field coaching, as I looked deeper and I went inwards. And I believe that's when my mindfulness journey started, even though I didn't call it mindfulness as such. My meditation journey started. And I allowed myself, as we say in coaching, I really allowed myself to embrace the whole of me. So, embracing that whole of me as I began to sit and write. And there's this beauty about writing where it's not from head to paper, but it's the
Yeah.
whole of me, the head, the heart, the gut. And as I began writing and I began to think of what's the message, and that's when the people and the stories came. And the beauty is this: I wrote something, I sent it to person A. So let's say it's a story on divorce, something that's not very acceptable in the culture. And I asked the person, is it okay, one, if I share your story? And two, do you want me to share your story in your name or a different name? And I must say, Beatriz, I'm so happy. Each and every person in all the stories said, please use my real name.
Nice. Super beautiful.
So that affirmed for me the
Mm.
practice of satsang that we all go through. Of course, the Atma is here, the soul is here to go through ups and downs in life. And if we can acknowledge another person's story and wholeness with compassion, with a pilgrim's eyes and heart, and we accept that person is ready to be seen, to be heard, and to show up.
Yeah, I totally agree. And also, when I was listening to you, I was something that was coming to me like, and I got inspiration also, because sometimes when somebody has the courage to share what is really going on in their life and the way they see the world, it's inspiration in the sense that I can get inspired to say my own story, to be
Yeah.
seen the way I am, to start realizing my dreams no matter what, because sometimes the dreams looks like, this is not possible now, hello, so it's, and sometimes we stop our own dreams because maybe somebody see that our dream is something that we cannot accomplish in this lifetime. And one of the things that inspire me a lot is that Gandhi never saw what he did before he died. And many of the great people that what have walked in this world, they have seen something. But when they don't have this connection with the ego of knowing and need to see
Hmm.
the result of my actions right now or next week or before I pass away, the things can continue and the inspiration is much bigger. So it's also everything start as you said, like with normal people that you had conversations, but they are, as you said, they are ready to be seen and they are ready to be heard when they can say their story and when they connect their consciousness with the enjoyment and everything that they are going through, right?
Yes. And I
So
love
beautiful.
that you mentioned the leaders who inspire you and about inspiration. So, back to, I guess, the coaching question, which we start with, who are you?
Mm,
And just seeing that in my life, whether or not I'm wearing the hat of a coach, was liberating. And I think it was liberating even for the person in front of me to be
yeah,
seen in the fullest light.
yeah,
And also, it's okay to have the shadow.
yeah, of course. Like I mean, and if it's not okay, sorry, because the shadow will come. I mean, it's not something that you can choose. It's like, okay, I want to live in my light. Uh-huh. Good intention. Work, you can work on that and walk in that direction. But the real thing is that as a human beings, we have different momentums and different emotions and different construction of our
Mm,
body and expansion. And there are many things that we will never control, even though we have all the certifications and all the ranks and
mm,
all the ICF things. It's not something that we have human nature.
yes.
So as one of my teachers said, the serpent is a serpent,
Mm,
the cow is a cow, and the monkey is a
mm,
monkey. So when we understand our essence and our nature, one thing is to walk in consequence and start doing the things in the direction that we are thinking and that we wish to live.
yes.
And that it's not excluding that there are so many things during the day that we don't like and we are like, and sometimes we have to quiet and sometimes we don't say anything, but like we are talking and I do this, I say so many things or no,
Absolutely.
right? So even though if the people say, but I'm quiet, yeah, but you say something with your face, like,
Yes.
also, you don't have to say also stupid to demonstrate that you are thinking that, right? So sometimes it's not that we just protect what we said, it's that we train what we think. And even though we train
Absolutely.
what we think, there are so many moments that we forget that we are trained.
and
It's
and
like
that and
that.
that is literally embracing, right, over and over again, and learning and relearning and
Yeah.
having fun at it, being able to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you apply now? Because you wrote that book in 2014 and you have these conversations for 2007 to 2012. And nowadays it's 2020 and you're in a very different moment. And now you have a baby almost 2 years old and you have done a lot of things in that as a consultant and now as a coach and you went through this health and wellness coaching journey also. So
Yes.
you have been increasing, improving, putting more information. How do you apply all those stories in this moment? How you can bring them to this present moment in your life and how do you talk about that?
Hmm. So the first question that comes to mind is always the why. It's like children, right? They already ask why.
Mm,
And literally, that's, I think, a beautiful expression of how we kind of want to live into this human nature to understand things. And we start with why. So when I started writing that book, and I know as a consultant working with leaders, working with my clients, the most powerful shift happens when the person can connect with his or her own why. Why am I choosing this goal? Why am I choosing this path? Or why am I not choosing this path? So the why. Um, so as I reflect, and for me, I think it doesn't matter how many years pass by, because this was the why I had in the Himalayas. So before 2014, yeah, there have been so many times when I have visited different parts of the Himalayas, and they are like my rock anchor. Even if I am in Singapore, where the Himalayas are nowhere in sight, and when I'm
Okay,
going through a
just to clarify, Natasha was born in the mountain in the hill area in the northeast of India, and the name of that place is Darjeeling, quite close
yes,
to Kolkata, where Mother Teresa is. So in that side of India, up very close to that this hilly area, mountains and tea stations, and the Darjeeling tea is coming from where Natasha was born. So
yes,
just to because many people maybe have not been in that, and you say Himalayas like going traveling. No, you were born almost in the Himalaya, so
in yes,
you were just surrounded by mountains when you were born, and now you live in Singapore, which is by the sea. So it's
by
a
the sea.
very different location.
It's different.
Yeah. So sorry for
So
interruption. So yes, you wanted to say this that.
no, so that's not okay for interruption. It's a dialogue. And
Okay.
when I was in Singapore, and even on days, some days when you wake up and you feel like, oh, the world, don't want to open my eyes,
Yeah.
somehow the Himalayas and that image would just wake me up. So it's like people say, right? A mother says that the baby is a very good why to wake up every day. But what happens when you don't have a baby? Then I have to find a different why. And there was one day, and again, it's this moment where I asked myself, why am I on this earth at this time? Why am I here? What's the purpose of life? And at that time, I was single, did not have any prospect in mind to marry, of course, no children. But being an Indian, I have been asked this question since I was a teenager, like, when are you getting married? Or my parents have definitely been asked this question, perhaps when I was born, literally. It's that concept, right? Of the
Yeah.
minute you know it's a girl child, it's connected to marriage. And I guess those questions of identity, marriage, children kind of made me look at my life and I ask myself, what do I want in my life? And I have a loving, beautiful relationship with my grandparents, my mother's mother and mother's father, who literally brought me up because I spent my childhood in their home, growing up near Darjeeling in Siliguri. And then one day I thought, oh my God, what if I am too old by the time I get married and have a child and don't get to see my
You're super
grandchildren?
young.
But I thought in the future, and I think it was because of that
Okay.
coaching, right? That coaching journey where I asked myself, what
Uh,
happens if I
uh,
don't get to see my grandchildren in my lifetime? Or if I don't get
Natasha.
to talk to them by the time they are grown up? And that
Uh,
inspired me, and that was my why to write a book of stories. And I've literally written the book as letters to my grandchildren.
okay. Nice. So
So
beautiful.
how do I practice it? Literally doesn't matter whether it's 2020 or 2030 or 2040. Like you said, my baby is literally not even 1.5 years old right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I began to think of life, it's like we really don't know, right? In this unpredictable life, what
Mm,
life holds for us. And one of the things the coaching journey liberated for me is, like you said, be very clear what you want and walk towards that journey. So for
mm.
me, I wanted to talk to my grandchildren and share stories with them, ask them coaching questions. So I put them all together in a book, and I do the same thing when I'm talking, be it at my work with my clients. Well, not to, treat them like my grandchildren, but to bring that essence of storytelling, that essence of powerful
Yeah.
questions, that essence of connection, or be it with family members and friends.
That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. And that's so funny. What is gonna happen? I was just came to my mind that this uncertainty that we live in this world, right?
Yeah.
That everything is so uncertain. I think that all the time has been uncertain, but now we are more conscious that uncertainty exists. It's like we have conversations of uncertainty like never before in my
Yes.
circle of influence. I don't know if it's
Mm.
everywhere, but the conversations that I have with my friends and the conversations that I have with my team, there's a lot of uncertainty around that. I don't know. I don't know if I will be able to even that like that is a lot of I don't knows. We use a lot of I don't know. Uh,
Mm.
and this I don't know for, but also uncertainty for the present. But what I want to ask, what is going to happen if you don't have grandchildren? I know that you want to have,
Exactly.
you want to have grandchildren, but imagine that your daughter says, "Mom, I will go with Ama. I will live my,
Absolutely.
I will be a vipassana meditator. I want to be monk." None. Sorry, because she's a girl. None. What are you gonna do? I mean, are you prepared for she not wanting to have children, and you share
Uh,
with kids?
so, Beatrice, here's my preparation. At that point, my why was so strong that what if I didn't live another day? What if I never found the guy to marry? What if I didn't have any children? And I was okay with that. And for
Okay,
me, that's where I found my power. I felt my power. So
great.
forget about my child's choices, which is absolutely fine with me. And I can
Yeah.
imagine parents saying, yeah, you say that now, let her grow up. Because
Let's
parenting is a
wait.
whole
Let's
new
wait. In
field,
20 years we'll
right?
talk. Yeah.
But for me, my why at that
Yeah.
point, and that's what I said, it was in a moment and time in my life story where I was in the Himalayas and I asked myself, what if I don't live another day?
Yeah.
And that space allowed me to kind of embrace the uncertainty
Yeah.
in a way that allows me to live even this year of COVID 19 with
Yeah.
a lot of truth, consciousness, and joy, despite all the difficulties.
Wow. Yeah. It's like that. That whatever we have, whatever we are, is a choice. Like Viktor Frank, he was in the concentration camp,
Yes.
and the freedom that he always talked. The man is look. I mean, I don't know the name of the book in English. In Spanish is
Search for meaning.
in Spanish is El hombre en busca de sentido. So search for meaning is in English. Thank you. When he speaks about that, he writes about that we always have the choice. We always have the freedom to choose how we want to relate with the thing that is happening, how we
Mm,
want to relate with that thing that we were expecting and is not happening,
yes.
how we want to relate with that thing that suddenly appears and we were not prepared for. If we
Mm,
stay in this, I'm not ready for, this is not me, nobody told me, you didn't tell me that you were gonna come. I don't have that. I don't even have water. When we start like that, and in India is amazing. I know that you are from India, and you know that I love India. But and in many countries, maybe is a maybe, guys. But India is the one that is in my heart closely. So the thing is that when you go to a village, poor village, everywhere in India, but amazing for me was like, how come this is happening to me? That in a very, very poor village, and I was just coming in, and people were offering me everything that they had,
yeah.
a glass, cup of tea with the biscuits, and they were going to buy 1 rupee biscuit to offer something. And they have
Yeah.
no money, and they were not expecting me to give anything in exchange. It was just for the sake of giving, and
Yes.
giving with the heart. And also, one of the things that I learned in India is that when somebody comes to your heart, to your house, that person is representing God, and you are treating that because God is coming into your place, God is coming into your house, so you are treating God with all the love and sharing whatever you have. So it's this, like, sometimes in our world, in our middle class, lower up, it doesn't matter, middle class or high class, whoever is there. We don't have time and we don't have a glass of water because nobody told you, you didn't inform that you were going to come. Sorry, I'm busy. So it's beautiful to see this uncertainty, how we can take that also in the way we have our relationships.
Mm,
And I have a question. So you're okay with the uncertainty of whatever your daughter choose and whatever she, because it's like you have this, you had that dream in your heart that what am I going to say to my grandchildren? What happened if I pass away before they are, so they grown up? So I better write something so they can read me and they can
yes.
know grandma. But maybe those grandchildren are not from your daughter, but the new generations that you can share what was written for you when it's something that is your project. How you can share with the people that will listen to us, to connect with these three pillars that you connect, to write this book. What is the
Mm,
recommendation that you could bring here to say from your perspective, right? Maybe whatever you say is something that is not appealing to whoever is listening, or yes, but not as a recipe, but as a why the people nowadays should connect with these three things.
mm. Let's see. So let's play with this.
Okay.
Like you said, there's no recipe, and
No.
I am terrible in the kitchen with recipes. So I
I'm
just play
I
with the
I'm
ingredients.
great with the not with recipes. Yeah, I'm great cooking. And I'm a great cooker.
With just
But
the
I do my
ingredients.
recipes. I do my recipes daily. You will never have the same cake with me. It's different,
Yeah.
but always it's gonna be great because I love to open and see what is there for me, and then I do whatever is there. I don't need anything that is not in my fridge. I don't need anything that is not in my closet.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
I love it. It's a lot of release.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have outdone Mary Kondo for the closet. I don't know a similar example for the kitchen. But let's see. That's a very good question. And that's why, to begin with, I use the word practice.
Mm,
Because what I learned and the way practice was introduced to me in different learning circles is that a practice is not a theory, a model, a framework. So it's okay if you say, I don't know, because I don't know also. And honestly, nobody can know your life, nobody but you. So the first pillar of truth, and that's what for me satsang is. Sat means truth, and sang is the company. So
mm,
my first invitation to play with the ingredient is what is what is joyful for you, what is present for you when you are with your own company.
mm,
How do you love yourself when you are alone? How do you enjoy every emotion that you have? Even emotion like anger um, and all the emotions that annoy us,
anxiety,
annoyance,
frustration, guilty,
anxiety, frustration,
those
screaming, everything, plus of course all the
fear,
pleasanter ones. Yeah, right.
horrified. Yeah.
So that was my practice, which was, and I think the Camino, the walk of 800 kilometers on the El Camino in 2014 allowed me to be in touch with different parts of me.
Mm,
And for me, that I'm very grateful. So the second ingredient would be sometimes our own home and our known surroundings may not support this discovery.
mm,
So I think that's why this year people say they miss traveling, because I know you are an avid, beautiful traveler, Beatrice. How can we get out of our comfort zone or the known environment to go into the unknown?
mm.
And wherever that may be, it need not be a fanciful holiday, but you know how the El Camino is literally walking with a backpack and with very little belongings. So, a lot
Yeah.
of time for introspection, a lot of time for, yeah, just feeling the feelings, which in my day to day work, it's very easy for me to put them on the side and get inside my head of what I know. and work from that space and not feel anything. So I'm literally living in the top floor of my house called the body.
Mm.
And how do I get into just feeling my body and my emotions? The rage, because we know, right, as anger, let's say anger, for example, which is coming up for me quite a bit this year, it's a message. And to notice, where do I feel angry? Why? And what's the message and the gift? Um, the third ingredient of consciousness that really helped me is to be with people who can help you think in a way that you don't think. You were one of those people for me, Beatriz.
Mm.
You are my coach, my friend, this crazy Mexican person who loves India, can speak in Hindi, has walked the El Camino. And I was like, all right, let's go have another, Mexican food and drink, and let's
Yeah.
get to know you. And so, really, to surround yourself with loved ones, but also people who surprise you, baffle you,
Yeah.
and allowing ourselves that. That really was a gift for me, where either because I was in a foreign country, I was forced to meet people that way, or I was also kind of pulled because of being in the coaching community, where my
Mm.
coaches held me accountable. And the fourth ingredient, so that allows us to look at different consciousness.
Mm.
And
So
maybe
the
I'll
first
share.
one, just to summarize, the first one to, yeah, because the people, let's see that nobody has asked yet, but let me just summarize. The first one is to be
To be
aware,
with your own company.
to be aware that you can be alone with yourself, like you are inside
Yes.
of you, your body is your house, as we think, as we live, you and
Yeah.
me and many people also, but that idea of being in my body can give me the sensation of being at home. Second,
And once we are in that body, to support being with ourselves, to go in an unknown environment.
so the second is the going to a non-environment. So
Yes.
because for example my non-environment has been to be in one place for this pandemic,
Mm,
that I cannot travel too much, as you know that I'm traveling most of the
yeah.
time. Well,
How
since
long has
March,
it been since you've left home?
no, I'm in one home without moving in one city. This is different. People, and if people is
Exactly.
looking for traveling, I was looking for staying in one place, and I'm enjoying so much, and has been since March, and I have done so many things, and I'm super happy, really enjoying so many things of what I'm doing with my team, what I'm doing with my projects, the things that I'm writing, the things that I'm creating. That it's
So
like a great,
beautiful.
yeah, I'm working online. So the second is, first of all, being the recommendation, being at home when you are with yourself, like be aware that you can be inside of you and it's okay. The second one, be able to get out of your comfort zone and go and visit unknown places. That those places can be physical places or any kind of place.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah,
You figure
because
it out.
spiritual places that maybe through meditation you can go to places that you have never visited. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question. So that's the second. Go to unknown places. The third one.
The third one, so the first two is anchored on the pillar of truth. The second one is about consciousness. So, how do you meet people who are different from you,
Okay.
who helps you give a perspective that you may never think about? So, it's unknown environment, unknown people.
So the third one can be unknown people, like get together, have relationships, conversations with people that think differently than you. That in Singapore is quite easy. The other day I was talking with my Mexican friends, some friends that are starting the health coaching program. And I
Mhm.
was saying, can you see the diversity in this room? Because I'm one of the mentor coaches in the program, and two of my Mexican friends are joining. Well, one is not Mexican, but two from Mexico are joining the program. And I wrote to them and I said, can you see how is this? Because there were people from Indonesia, from Malaysia, from Europe, from
Mm,
America, from Mexico, from Philippines. So we were like from many countries. It's just to
Yeah,
have the opportunity to have a conversation with someone that is from another place. It has another idea that can open up a new possibility and so many alternatives that you have never seen if you just talk with the
absolutely.
people that you always talk, right?
I must say, Singapore is such a gift in this
Yeah,
perspective, in this aspect. Not
totally.
only people, but food, and yeah, just that variety, that juiciness, that diversity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And my
Okay,
last
so
in
yeah, so the unknown places, go to unknown places, go to have conversations with people that don't think like you, to put it in my words, but it's your thing. The fourth one,
and the fourth one has to connect with the principle of joy. So how can
I
we
love that one.
find joy
Yeah.
even in the most, like we mentioned, Search for Meaning and Viktor Frankl, but no matter what the external circumstances, how can we find the joy within? And that for me, honestly, is my practice, because I find this to be the most difficult. I'm comfortable to be with myself. I am comfortable to be in unknown places and meet different people. But to really have that capacity to find joy when I'm not feeling joyful and my mind is overriding, giving me reasons of what I don't know and how uncertain life can be and all the fear,
Yeah.
and in that to go to trust
Yes.
that the universe has our back. And I don't
Totally.
know how else to say this because I don't want to sound religious from any religious aspect, but for you to really connect with your own higher purpose, your own higher beliefs, that the universe has your back. And whatever pain we are going through, there is a lesson in that, and to be joyful no matter what. So I have been talking to this year, especially with different, I volunteer and I have had conversations on mental health. And COVID has kind of brought up a lot of things that was there, but it was just under the carpet. So in a way, the carpet has been pulled out. Um, and yeah, and the joy of, so it's not the
Mm.
crazy happiness. I'm not using the word happiness, but the joy of being, the gift of just, yeah, loving and being able to be compassionate to yourself and to people in front of you.
Yeah, I love it. And I understand what you say that is the most difficult in this overriding, this overriding, but it's very human. I mean, I don't think you are the only one here
Hope not.
in this conversation. But I don't know if I override that much. As you say, overriding. I love that word. Um, what you do when you override? You realize it in the moment, or is something that you realize afterwards? Afterward.
Depends.
Oh, the
Sometimes
situation.
in the moment,
Yeah.
sometimes it's like the light bulb is not on, not on, not on. And then in the middle of the night, when I wake up to make milk, I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
remember there is joy in waking up at crazy God knows what hour to feed the little one. And that's what
Yeah.
our ancestors did for us. And we have been able to survive and live to this day.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I,
like
I
you
have
said,
I don't live with you, but I can say that I have traveled with you,
yes.
and we have shared spaces, and we were together in these 10 days of silence, but also we were in Cambodia traveling and walking. And my experience of you is that you have been able to leave that. It's true that you can overthink because you are super technical and you have so much information that and you write, and you are like this, like 1 2 3 4 5, and you have this mind, right? And it's something that we have talked about it. And at the same time is that I have seen you giving this, seeing the other side of the situation.
Mm.
But also what I can see now is that maybe you don't see that you are very fast changing. I don't know, like you are super fast going to the other side, And maybe you just remember that you were in that side overriding, but you don't see that once you override, you know super fast how to go and see the capacity that you have to enjoy the moment. It's my
Yeah.
experience. It's not a
Thank
coaching
you for
session.
sharing. Thank you
It's
for
not a
mirroring.
it's just for you to think about it, that how conscious you are of that part,
Hmm.
because your joyful way of being is, it's not, many people can see that, yeah, you are very intelligent and you know many things and you can give a lot of reasons that this, two, three, four, five, yeah, that part we know about you. But also their spiritual side and your meditation practice and your intention and your, it's not a practice of one day, it's a practice, actually you were born in a place that practice of these techniques
Yes.
is important, your grandma and the people around you, and it's something that is in your blood since you were born. It's like maybe that, I don't know, huh? But maybe that inspiration of you of getting to know your grandchildren about you is because all the things that you got to know from your grandma. So it's
Yes.
like a paying forward of something that you have gotten before.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
just check that, check. If you want to
And
check,
then you're
if you
right.
don't want, don't check.
I feel the image that I had as you spoke, Beatrice, is I don't know about you, but you know, it's like how little children, when I was little, there's this swing where you sit on the swing and you swing, and
Yeah,
it's so
I
much
have it. I have it.
fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So it's that childlike image I have, that no
Yeah,
matter how old we are, inside each one of us is a child,
yeah, inner
and to
child.
allow that child to
Yeah,
be on that swing. So personally
what
for
a,
me, it's like you're right. I sometimes feel in situations work related where you're supposed to be serious, and you know, it's like and I'm on the same swing because I am who I am, but my swing is going to a certain place. And then maybe the minute I'm out of that workplace, or even in that workplace, suddenly I swing to just being and noticing. And then again, I swing back to
yeah,
what
and like it's,
is and what is.
yeah, yes, no,
So sometimes my mind and my soul and my heart catches up with myself, and sometimes I miss, and it's okay.
yeah, exactly. That's life. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. And the more we grow and the more consciousness we want to have and we want to practice and develop, because it's also a practice, it's an intention,
It
it's a
is.
will. We It's not a tomorrow I will be conscious doing nothing. No, no, it's something that it requires a little bit of intention, our will
And
in the
if I may
place.
please say on that, I met you, and a lot of this wisdom that I have tried to practice in my life comes from teachers. Teachers like yourself, teachers whom
Mhm.
I've met in my coaching fraternity, in my global fraternity, literally. So, the one thing, if you don't remember or you don't resonate with anything else, the one thing I would request for everyone is don't feel shy, do not hesitate to ask for help, to reach out. Maybe the fifth one, one, two, three, four, five, the thumb.
Once you enjoy life, if you see that you cannot enjoy, go and ask for help. If you
Absolutely.
realize that step is not easy, raise your hand. Oh, you can put the fifth like somewhere. So I just have to tell you, thank you very much for accepting the invitation to come here to talk a little bit about your doing, but more of your, it's not your doing itself, it's your being, how you see the world from the person that you are today, and what are the things that have been important for you, and how those things have helped you to improve something in your life. And when
Yes.
we share what we do, we can inspire others, maybe not to do what we do, but maybe to find out what is important for them. So this is the idea of this space, learning to transform our world in alternatives, or ATMA. That, yeah, the world came in a Vipassana meditation course. I was there in ATMA, 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 and I was like, okay, soul in Sanskrit, and then
Wow.
the word, like, well, like, okay, soul in Sanskrit, yes, the soul, so conversations from the soul, but also these words in Spanish, aprendiendo, learning to transform, transformation, our world, nuestro mundo, in alternatives, alternativas, which is almost the same word. So it's how we can open up our eyes and have a better life, much more quality in our life, if we have more intention of being happy and enjoy what we are having, enjoy what we are living, enjoy the situations that we are going through. It's not that we will celebrate that situation that we're going through, because it's quite sad that many things are happening. I have lost some of my friends. I have some of very close friends very sick right now. So it's a lot of praying also, and a lot of intention to heal many people in the world. But how, with everything that is there, how we can take care of ourselves, and at the same time that we take care of ourselves, we are able to start taking care of someone else. So thank you for being here. I don't know if you want to say something else to close the space. It's yours.
Usually in India, spaces like this ends with a drum and a dance,
Oh.
right?
And this
that's
movement,
that's that's
this is
that's
the
the
movement.
dance.
This is the Bollywood movement that you have to do with Kareena Kapoor and Shah Rukh Khan, and yeah,
So
that's
for
true.
me, yeah, just really
I don't have the music ready. I should have some
right,
music good. Yeah,
something. Come on, we
next
should have
time.
thought of that for you
Yeah,
and
next
me.
time I will
But
tell you.
yes, maybe you, for everyone, you put your own favorite music and then you dance to that.
I was dancing before you. I'm teaching dancing at
Me
6
too,
a.m.
me too. I was listening to
Oh.
my music and, well, sitting comfortably waiting for you, was just going with the music.
Or we can do the Indian movement. So we have to move. It's not easy. You have to practice it. It's like coming from, like, the neck will go, but it's not going anywhere, and then the hand has to be like, yes, no. This is when an Indian person do this. If you're asking something, if you do this, they mean yes, and if do this, they mean I don't know.
Really? I didn't
Yeah,
know that. You see, I learned
yeah.
about India from you.
It's so
Certain
nice. Like, I
aspects.
don't know. They move, and then the words come after. I don't know.
Ah, mm.
It's like, hello.
Okay, la.
Okay, la, this is Singaporean. So, sweetie, how we like to close this space? Do you want to say something for closing?
Sure. So I would love for you. I was reading this, I was looking for books for my little one to introduce her. And I can't remember because I've saved that, but the book was literally for a little baby. It said something like, I am my friend. And it's written by, again, I can't remember, I can put up the link later. But as I was looking at that book for children and like toddlers and infants, is to teach them the concept of friendship and love and their own identity, because our identity starts from way before the mind begins to even comprehend that. So I wish for you to be your best friend, your Atma friend, and then for you to have a lot of other Atma friends in a
Nice.
circle of our Atma.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I
Yeah.
love you very much. I hope I see you soon in Singapore. If before
Yes.
that, we can continue with our chat as always. So thank you, Natasha.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Beatriz.
Namaste, namaste. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye.